Welcome to weeks 13 and 14. As you notice, this is the last module. I'm putting the 2 weeks together because you pretty much just have one more quiz that I'm clumping a few chapters together, and then of course you're working on your final project. And that's how we're wrapping up. So there's no need for a new video next week, a new introduction. You can wrap all this up together in the next 2 weeks, right? The next 2 weeks, it's going to be, this is all you've got left. So therefore, you won't have to put up with another video of me. So let's don't look so upset. Let's get into the what you still got left. You know most of it, but I am introducing, like I said, a few new chapters in a quiz, and that's really all that you have that's new. But to set the stage for that, you're going to be reading chapters 11, 12, and 13. So here's what we did for this semester here is we put these lessons here at the very end. Not that they're not important. Like that was a double negative. It's not that these are not important for to understand journalism, the media ecosystem. But the beginning part of the semester was teaching you the fundamentals of writing, right? Hard news, feature writing, op-eds, right? Writing for, we call it print, but I know it's online. Print and online now is merged, but just writing basic journalistic stories. These chapters here are kind of like ancillary. They're kind of like the secondary pieces of the main lessons that you needed to learn. And you're going over broadcast news, so broadcast journalism, broadcast being like TV, radio. And while it is journalism and you do have to write for it, even though it's speaking, you're reading from something, it's written in a little bit different of a way. There's a different kind of style to it, which you'll learn about. And so you have to understand the fundamentals of journalism to then even understand like what the differences are of broadcast journalism. However, many of you might want to get into broadcast journalism. Many of you, the way now journalism works is not always so siloed. If you're a writer, you sometimes have to write for a podcast, or you have to write for a video that's showing up on a website, right? So there's a lot of, it's integrated now. There's a lot more meshing. So with that said, this is not going to teach you how to write as a broadcaster, but it's introducing you. It's at least giving you the foundational understanding of here are some differences with broadcast journalism as opposed to what you've been learning, the basic print style, fundamental writing, right? And this is exposing you to that. Then we also have another chapter is online news, which I know again is like a little misleading because right now it's print and online. It's one and the same. If there's a print story for a news outlet, for a newspaper, they're also most likely have an online platform that they're going to publish on. So I understand that. But there are some differences that you think about when you're writing for online. And these are going to cover those too. So you're looking about what are some of the nuances with online journalism. And the last chapter is public relations, which is an entirely different discipline. I won't say entirely different, but it's different than journalism. Public relations is like the managing of relationships for a person or a business or an organization. So, Nike or Habitat for Humanity is a nonprofit, or publicity for a celebrity, an artist, or singer, right? They are trying to get their news out, their message to the public. They're talking to the public. And often you're using the news media, you're using journalists to do that, to get your message out, right? And so journalists rely on public relations professionals to kind of keep them informed on certain topics, and public relations professionals use journalists to get the word out, to get their message out. And so one good metaphor somebody used once, it's like public relations is like is the cousin of journalism. I just bungled that whole sentence, but public relations is like the cousin of journalism, right? So they're related. There's a lot of similarities, but there's also some differences. But the writing style, so that's my bringing you all back here. The writing style very similar. So when you are trying to get the news media to cover you, you're writing in an inverted pyramid style. Right? You're writing prepackaged stories for journalists, which you send to them, and they may take as is, they may tweak it, they may use a part of that story, then want to learn more about it. All right, but it's kind of like it's a style that you've learned now. You've learned how to write in the inverted pyramid style. Public relations professionals use that, and they'll use what's called news releases or press releases you hear, and you send those to journalists. I don't want to get too much of an explanatory lesson here, because that's also, again, one of the chapters for where you can really have some time to digest it and see examples. But I want to explain to you the context, like why it's important to know this. So the main theme you see of those three, the broadcast journalism, the online news media, and the public relations, is that it's not directly related to what you've been learning all semester as far as fundamentals how to write, but it is part of journalism. It is part of the news media ecosystem, and you should have some exposure to it. You should understand how they all work together. You should understand what some of those differences are, and of course, in the future, you can always be taking other classes that really focus on public relations or news reporting for online or broadcast journalism. This has now set the foundation for you. With that, there will be no exercise like you guys been doing. There's just a quiz, and again, the quiz is just meant for to point out. It's also my way of pointing out what I think some of the most important pieces of those chapters are, so you can really focus on it. And also, of course, a little bit of accountability because I know it's the end of the semester and you want to brush through these lessons, but they are important. So I'd like you to try to take the time, really consume them, understand them, and of course, that test there is a way to give you some incentive to do that. The quiz, I should say. So you're taking your quiz, you're working on your final assignment, and reading news every day as every week in this semester and beyond, hopefully. Maybe you've gotten some kind of a habit for that, and that would be great. But you are still working on your final assignment. And so I want you to just consider, even though that I'm not doing a video next week, it feels like maybe my time here is done. It's not. I'm still here available for you for help, for feedback. Hey, Professor Chara, what do you think of this lead? I'm really struggling with this nut graph. How does this look to you? Do I need more? Hey, can you take a look at this draft and just kind of let me know if I'm on the right direction or not? Of course, giving me time. So looking here at the due dates here. That's not what I want to do. What do I want to do? Here we go, due dates. If and I'm sorry, I should have said this too, just backtracking here. It's weeks 14 and 15, so the quiz is not actually due until the 9th. You basically, for those 3 chapters, have 2 weeks. I'm giving you 2 weeks to do it, and you can space out. You can take the quiz whenever, but I'm spacing it out for you, so if you want to read 1 chapter or 2 chapters the first week and 1 the next week, you could do that and then take that quiz before the 9th. So the next 2 weeks, you have to read all those chapters and get that quiz done. Also, your final project due on the same day, right? And so with that said, we're looking at this week here. You're not sending me a draft here on the 6th or the 7th, or you're not sending me your questions here on the 7th. That's too late. You can get me something, though, here anytime this week, early next week. I'd say by Wednesday is the latest you're going to push it for me, right? But you're getting to me something the next week and a half. I can give you general feedback. I won't go through and edit everything, but I will give you general feedback. I'll give you direction. I'll give you places where I can already see our weak spots that you're going to need to work on, right? And that at least then gives you a focus on what you need to do to achieve, whatever it is that the grade that you're trying to reach here. I told you before in the last assignment, in the last video, that I grade these, I don't want to say strictly. I expect excellence for them because I'm giving you the time to dedicate to them, right? So you do have a lot of time to work on these, but again, I'm going to be looking at them on a very stringent lens. So with that said, use this time the next week and a half for me to help you. Let me know where you're struggling, and then this way I can address it, right? That's part of this, that while you're not watching a video of me now, I'm still here. I've not gone on vacation, unfortunately, yet, right? I'm still here, ready to help you one-on-one, but you got to be proactive. You got to let me know. And I will end the video with this. Look, this is a hard semester, hard year for us. To go through school, do this with all the circumstances, and you stayed tough and you worked hard all through semester, right? A lot of progress, a lot of growth I saw from you. My dog agrees. A lot of growth, and this is tough, right? I know it's a tough time to be going to college and doing all this with all these extra pressures, and you're handling it, and many of you are excelling with this, right? So you should be really proud of yourself for this semester. Don't get too cocky. You still got your final project. You still got this last quiz, right? But if you put in the dedication and time that you've been doing with your other assignments, you're going to end up doing well based on what I've seen through this semester. And you should be proud of that. You should be proud of the hard work that you had to do with all the hurdles, in spite of all the hurdles, what you were able to accomplish this semester. So, take some pride in that. Take some pride in that. Finish strong, though. Work hard because you still got this last big assignment, which can tilt your scale either way. But you should be proud of everything that you've done up to this point, and I'm sure that you'll do on this final project. Don't really check my email, my Middlesex email in the summer, or even next semester if I'm not teaching a class in Middlesex next semester. So if you do need to get a hold of me in the future, my email is adam@adamchiara.com. That's adam@adamchiara.com. Go ahead and send me an email at some point if you think I can help you out on your journey. But otherwise, look, it has been a pleasure throughout this semester from you all. And I hope to see you when I see you sometime in the future. All right.